Hello, my friends. A fun video for you today. We are going to be talking about my current top 10 spring fragrances for 2024. We've got a mix of some old favorites and some new to the scene. They've kind of shaken things up from last year. And one of the things that makes this video even more fun for me to film is that this is a collaboration with my friend Connor over at Connor Loves Candles. Connor and I have actually, honestly, similar sized channels. We both started our YouTube journey around the same time. We've both been on YouTube for around 2 years. Connor is a fellow ambassador for KRINGLE and HOMEWORX with me. We have a lot of similarities in terms of the brands that we typically like to focus on. Connor also sometimes dabbles in sharing some of his personal home fragrance and, or not personal home fragrance, personal fragrance, duh. Home fragrance is personal, but meaning like personal fragrance, like body care and whatnot. But we tend to do a lot of very similar content. And he also is a young man who really upholds himself with a lot of integrity. And I've really enjoyed his channel for the last 2 years. And so when I reached out to him and asked him, hey, Connor, you want to collaborate with me on this one? He was like, definitely. We both, I tend to think that he prefers some spring fragrances a little bit more because he tends to love florals. But he's influenced me to kind of go outside of my comfort zone. And I know he's kind of said the same thing about me. We both tend to be a little bit more seasonal in how we like to burn. And yeah, I've just really enjoyed his content. So please, if you would like to find out what his top 10 candles are, please make sure that you check out his video after this one. If you're coming over from Connor's channel, hi, I'm Katie. I love to talk all things candles here on my channel. I like to do reviews. I do hauls. Sometimes you see my cat. Is that, oh yeah, there she is. That's Ruby, the cat. I don't have dogs. I do have a cat that sometimes meanders back and forth. You also may see my children sometimes wander back and forth. I have 3 children. But anyways, getting back to the type of content that I like to share here, I do dedicated candle reviews, I do hauls, I do empties, I have a candle collection series that I do every month where I give you an update on where my candle collection sits. I guess I let you guys know what I decluttered, what I used up, what I brought in. And so it's just kind of a fun way for me to hold myself accountable. And let's see, what else do I do on here? Oh, I have a bi-monthly series where I kind of just do a candle chat. So kind of like how Connor does his weekly wax chat. I tend to do that every other week just because life is busy and I don't always have time to film that every week. So if you find yourself having a connection with me or wanting to stick around for more of my content, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also wanted to let you guys know I am using a mic. Like, I've just started incorporating this, and sometimes the sound gets a little bit weird. I'll hear it sometimes in editing. So still working out all of the kinks with that, but just give me some grace, please, and I would really appreciate it. Alrighty, so I'm going to talk about my top 10 current favorite spring fragrances, because you guys know that in years past, there may be some candles that honestly were on last year's list, but they haven't made it this year. So these are candles that are currently in my collection. These are the top 10 that I am reaching for. I can't really say, well, maybe I could give a number one. I think I'll do that one last, but otherwise these are really not in any particular order. The fragrances that I am talking about today, I will make sure that I list them in the description box down below, as well as with any kind of discount codes. The discount codes, just to let you guys know, are affiliate codes or links, and those are eligible for a commission. I touched on that last weekend in my spilling the tea type of video where I talked about how that process all works. So yeah, but that will all be listed and linked down below, as well as with timestamps. All right, that's a long enough intro. Let's go ahead and talk about these fragrances. So I'm going to actually go ahead and talk about a Yankee candle to start with, because my friend Connor works for Yankee Candle, and it is the only Yankee candle that has made this list. And honestly, I don't even know if this fragrance is in stores now, because this is a fragrance that I purchased last year, primarily because I loved the color of the wax and the packaging sucked me in. Isn't that terrible, you guys? Like, I'm such a sucker for good packaging. This is Easter Bouquet. So again, this is from 2023, but look at this like mint green wax with this floral pattern on here. If this is still currently available, again, I'll make sure that it's available, linked down below. But oh my goodness, this fragrance to me, I am not normally a floral person, just putting that out there. Although I've said that a lot. And then as I was doing this, I was like, well, I kind of do like some florals. This is a floral fragrance that I can get behind. There's a greenery to it. I think I pick up like some hyacinth in here. Maybe a little bit of tulip, but not overly strong. I don't detect rose or anything like that. This is a very green, almost grassy type of floral fragrance. It's not as smack you in the face as, say, like honeysuckle, or definitely not like lily or anything like that. But I love this fragrance. It's one that last year when I was burning it, I knew that it was one that I was going to have to go ahead and put back into my collection because, again, I'm very seasonal. And I'll usually burn this probably in the months of March and April. And then if I'm not done with it, I'll go ahead and put it back into my collection. But I've been burning it quite a bit lately. And I think that I will be able to finish this up this year. But this is a really lovely fragrance. I haven't checked to see if Yankee has put this in their new 3-wick format. I do have 2 other candles in that new 3-wick format that I am currently testing, but I would love it if they put this in a 3-wick format because this would definitely be a repurchase for me. I've really been enjoying this fragrance this year. A candle that I really like burning alongside with that Easter bouquet is a new release this year from Bath & Body Works, and this is Happy Easter Daffodil Daydreams. Again, another situation. Your girl here loves her some good packaging, and I love this mint-colored lid. I love the bunnies and the flowers. Everything about this is just totally my vibe. So this is actually my second purchase of this candle. I purchased it a couple of weeks ago, I think when there was like a $12.95 sale with a 25% off coupon. The fragrance notes on here are whipped marshmallow, pastel clouds, and sweet daffodil. Now, I did do a dedicated review on this, and I did say that the strength and throw on this one is just medium. I would give it maybe like a 5, to be honest with you. But the reason that I still bought another one is because I am the type of person that likes to burn more than one candle at the same time. So I will typically burn one here in my living room. That's where I'm filming. It has high ceilings and it's open concept. But then in my bedroom, I will typically burn another fragrance that I feel like complements the one that's burning in the living room. And that's where this one comes in. I like to burn this one in my bedroom. It has kind of a sweet perfuminess behind it. Daffodil, you would think, oh, floral, but no, the marshmallow note, which Bath & Body Works does really, really well, is what kind of shines, but there's a sweet perfuminess behind this, but it's not musky. It's delicate. It's just a really nice fragrance. So I have really been enjoying this one this spring. And like I said, this is my second one. So it's a great candle. Another fragrance that I have really been enjoying burning Daffodil Daydreams with, and I'm going to go into kind of like a little trio here, is a new fragrance from the Kringle and Country Candle spring lineup. And this is Country Candles Lemon Tea and Roses, which is funny because, again, this is one that, honestly, I did receive this candle in PR. But this is one that intrigued me before I even knew that I was getting this candle in PR. So I don't have the fragrance notes in front of me, but again, I did do a dedicated review on this. This is a really nice morning springtime scent because you do get that lemon tea. It's more in the lines, if you're familiar with Kringle Candles herbal tea, very similar tea note. This is not like tea time, which was more of like a black or chai tea. This is like a green lemon type of tea. But you get the faintest note of rose in the background. Now, rose can be very heady. It can be very like headache inducing for me. But I am finding that that is not the case with this one. It pairs really nicely with that Daffodil Daydreams. And I've actually been burning it a lot. And you can see that like I really have not made much of a dent in it. That 100% soy wax formula that Country and Kringle has is just, you're going to get your money's worth. I know that they are a more expensive brand. I think when it comes to, in comparison to say like Bath and Body Works or Goose Creek, but they are an American-made brand. And again, their candles, I feel like I get the most bang for my buck out of them because they do last such a long time. Another fragrance that I did a dedicated review on, and again, this is another new one in my lineup this year, another candle that pairs really nicely with the 2 candles that I just mentioned and has been a favorite go-to is HOMEWORX White tea leaf. Now, some people might see a tea fragrance again, and you might be thinking, I don't know about springtime with that. But the reason why these two tea fragrances are making it into my springtime lineup is because they are both mixed with a little bit of floral notes. So the fragrance notes on white tea leaf are white tea leaf, bergamot, verbena, and carnation blossom. Now, I did do another dedicated review on this one as well. Those will all be linked below. So this fragrance, I say, is very much not even, it's not a lemon tea. It's a very delicate white tea fragrance, but you do get a little bit of that carnation in the background. And carnation is a fragrance that I'm actually quite familiar with. There's a sweetness to it. You get a slight hint of citrus in here, but it is more of like the verbena citrus. This is not like a lemon citrus or an orange. Kind of lends a freshness to it, I would say. This has been a lovely fragrance. It's one that I actually purchased. I was intrigued by it when I saw it come to the Slatkin & Co. website, and I was then able to come across it in my local Marshalls. So I purchased it during then. I also hope you guys, I'm not sure if that sale would still be running because I think National Fragrance Week is probably technically over, but there was a really great sale on the Slatkin & Co. website this weekend or this past week. And I hope you guys were able to take advantage of that because there were some pretty good deals going on over there. While we are on the topic of Slatkin & Co., I'm going to share an underrated HOMEWORX candle. I know that I feel like I've been beating the drum on this one, that I featured this candle in quite a few of my most recent videos, but there's a reason why, because it's one of my favorites. This is Kitchen Herbs, and I love this fragrance in the springtime, again, because I think of like greenery, green notes, freshness, spring cleaning even. I'm a little bit of a clean freak, just letting you guys know. So the fragrance notes on here are wild mint leaves, fresh thyme, sage leaf, and bay laurel. So I can't remember what video I talked about it in, but this candle that I am holding here is actually the 5th candle that I have had in this fragrance. So I have previously, this fragrance I believe was originally made available maybe in 2019. It used to be over on QVC. So of course QVC, most of their stuff is in a duo, and I had purchased it in a duo and I really liked it. Now that version was so strong that I had to make sure that I had all of the windows open because otherwise it was borderline headache inducing. The fragrance on here is very much like you are walking through a fresh herb garden. It can kind of come across almost grassy. It's that green, but I like it. It is so fresh. It is energizing. It's definitely a palate cleanser. So if you have foods that if you've cooked some food and your kitchen's a little stinky, the house is a little bit stinky, you've been frying some bacon or whatnot, this is the candle you're going to want to burn afterwards. Or maybe you just cleaned the house and opened up your windows. Really, really nice fragrance. And again, I repurchased it in a duo. I bought it once in a duo on QVC. I bought it again in a duo on QVC. And then when it came to the Slatkin & Co. website, I want to say it was late in 2023. I went ahead and I think I purchased this during Black Friday of 2023. But that is a candle that I just love in the springtime. Let's talk about a fragrance that made my top 10 of 2023 from Bath & Body Works. And this is a candle that, again, I like to burn sometimes in the evenings or the mornings. Not only am I a seasonal burner, I tend to like to burn certain scents during different times of the day because I'm just weird like that. So the fragrance that I'm talking about here is Pink Lavender and Espresso. Nobody is probably surprised to see this fragrance make my list. Fragrance notes of rich pink lavender, caramel espresso beans, and smooth vanilla. Honestly, you guys, this fragrance, if you happen to like lavender marshmallow, it is the same lavender note that they use in a lot of Bath & Body Works products. It's like a sweet lavender. I do get a touch of espresso in here, but the espresso is not as strong as, say, in Paris Cafe. It's not a fragrance where I'm like, oh, I definitely smell coffee. But this is a very pleasant morning or evening scent. There's something about it that I love the sweetness of it. It's a different take on traditional lavender. And it's one that I just thoroughly have been enjoying for about the last 2 years now. It's a really, really nice fragrance. All right, now we are going to be coming into fragrances that I love so much. I mean, Kitchen Herbs is one that I've repurchased. Pink Lavender and Espresso I've repurchased. Yeah. So, but now we are coming into the ones where like I've put my money where my mouth is because I have repurchased pink lavender and espresso and kitchen herbs. Whatever, you guys, we're just rolling with it here. These are candles. Again, I love them so much. As a candle, as like somebody who has a YouTube channel, I generally cannot, or how do I put it this way? My general rule of thumb for myself is that I usually in my monthly candle budget do not allocate a lot of funds towards repurchasing fragrances that I have already burned, meaning that if I do repurchase a fragrance, you know that I really, really love it. So these are fragrances that I don't ever see myself not repurchasing. That's how much I love them. So this one, and honestly, this is more so, I would say this one is like spring into summer type of fragrance. This is Valencia Orange from HOMEWORX. Now, this one in particular, I bought in a duo from QVC last year, but this is now available on the Slatkin & Co. website. Fragrance notes of Valencia Orange, sugared lemon, glazed vanilla bean, and sweet amber. Now, I said, when I have described this fragrance before, if you happen to have liked HOMEWORX's Orange Creamsicle, this is its fraternal twin. This is that creamy, zesty orange. It's very juicy. There's a hint of amber back here, which I think lends the slightest touch of perfuminess to it. But this to me just smells like a good, juicy, ripe orange. It is so, so good, but it's sweet. If you were to burn this with like, say, vanilla ice cream or any kind of like creamy vanilla note, you might get that like orange creamsicle vibe. But if you liked HOMEWORX's Orange Creamsicle, you will love this one because they are very, very similar to my nose. In fact, if you were to burn them in two separate rooms, I really don't think that you could distinguish between the two that much. That's how similar they are to my nose. All right, here's another one that is a carryover from last year. Nobody will be surprised to see this one in here. This is Rosemary Lemon from KRINGLE. I think this was one of the first fragrances from KRINGLE that I fell in love with, so it has a little bit of nostalgia for me. I don't have the fragrance notes in front of me, but this lemon in here is definitely like fresh, crisp, clean lemon, fresh, clean lemon. There you go, Katie. All right. This is not your gourmand lemon. This is very much, I cleaned my house. Everybody come on over. Look at how clean my house is, because you get that hint of rosemary in here as well, which gives a little bit of herbaceousness to it. But every time I smell this, I just envision a slight breeze coming through, windows are open, I've freshly mopped the floors, the candles burning on freshly wiped down countertops. Maybe I've got some dinner going in the oven. I mean, not that this doesn't smell like dinner going in the oven, but it's just, it gives me like, for me personally, just giving you a little bit of insight into me, I am calm when my space is clean around me. Fun fact about me, and I always hesitate to say this because it makes me sound like, ooh, whatever. Clutter makes me anxious, and that's in my own space where I live. So I am somebody, I like things very clean around me constantly. I pretty much drive my family nuts with that. But this just kind of, it fits into that whole vibe that brings me peace. So this is a perennial favorite if you are looking for your home to just smell very clean. Even maybe if you haven't cleaned, but you got to throw something together, this is the candle to light, because you will fool a lot of people into thinking that. All right, let's go ahead and talk about a fragrance that quickly skyrocketed into this listing. Honestly, you guys, this is going to be in probably one of my top 10 candles of 2024. That's how much I love this fragrance. This is from the KRINGLE Candle Easter collection. This is Lemon Sugar Marshmallow. Now, I was a little bit hesitant to order this candle at first because when I looked at the fragrance notes, I was very concerned that this would be the same fragrance as last year's Marshmallow Chicks. I didn't love that fragrance. In fact, if you caught my lemon meringue pie review, you guys will know that I think that that's actually a repackage of Marshmallow Chicks. This is not. I am so thankful that it is not. This is definitely, this has taken the spot for being the best lemon gourmand fragrance that I have tried. This knocked limoncello cupcake from HOMEWORX to the into second place. I wouldn't say it kicked it to the curb because that still has a place. I mean, if I burn both of those together, oh man, that would be heavenly. But this is the one that just took the top spot for me. If you are familiar with the lemon note that was in Cosmic Cupcakes from 2023 spring release, it's the same lemon curd note. It's very much sharp, but a gourmand, sugary lemon. It's not cleaner lemon. You get the sweetness. Sorry, you guys, I'm running stuff in the dryer and I don't know if you keep hearing the buzzing. It wants to be taken out. You get the sweetness of a lemon. It smells like a lemon bar in a weird way. I think that's what I'm smelling without that eggy note in there, because sometimes I get like a little bit of a sulfur note from lemon bars with that egg. Does anybody else get that? Am I the only one who's really sensitive? I don't know, you guys. I've said this several times. I'm a little weird. But oh my goodness, this fragrance, so good. I was really thankful that I was able to stock the Kringle page and I got a backup when I could. I believe that this is currently sold out. It probably won't be brought back for this year, but there is a little 2-wick. There's like a little Easter chick. In fact, I think the fragrance is called Easter Chicks, and it's the same fragrance. So you're not going to get as much product for your money because it's a smaller vessel. But if you are interested in this fragrance, then you can I think you can still pick that up at the time that I'm filming this. I'm doing some pre-filming. I don't know if it'll still be on sale, but that is a fabulous fragrance. And then I will go ahead and end this video with probably what is my ultimate top spring fragrance, and it is one that the reason it is number one for me is because it is so highly sentimental. Honestly, to be honest with you guys, I think the lemon fragrances are slightly sentimental to me as well because my mother loved lemon fragrances. But this fragrance that I'm going to talk about right now is very sentimental, and it's definitely springtime. And it's so funny because I tell you guys, I'm not really a floral person, but my number one spring fragrance is a floral, and it is Fresh Lilac from Kringle Candle. Now, I feel like every candle company has a lilac fragrance that they put out. Bath & Body Works has fresh cut lilacs. YANKEE has Lilac Blossoms, which I do have in a 3-wick, and that's actually been performing really well for me. But Kringle's take on it is my favorite because to my nose, it is the most authentic. So if you are new to my channel, you will not know this story. If you've been with my channel for a while, I'm sorry to be very repetitive, but I've got to fill everybody in. So I am 39 years old, and I have found myself in an odd place where I have already lost both of my parents. My mom passed away 7 years ago from cancer, and my father very unexpectedly passed away last summer. And fragrance is very sentimental to me. It's very nostalgic because it reminds me a lot of my parents. And lilac especially reminds me of springtime and Easter because where I grew up in Southern California, in our small little town, there was a little place called Blum Ranch. It's located in Acton, California. And that is the town that I grew up in. And it was just maybe like a mile from where I lived. And I remembered every spring my mom would go, and they had this like 100-year-old barn where my mom would go in, and they had fresh cut lilacs, and they would wrap them in newspaper, and my mom would bring them home and put them in a vase and place them on the mantle over our fireplace. And the whole living room would smell like lilacs. And it was always like she had freshly cleaned the house on a Sunday. That was like her treat for, because this was, I think, prior to like really going out and buying candles to do that, to get that effect. That was like her treat to herself. And so for me, it just, when I smell this, it brings back all of that childhood nostalgia. I smell it and I think of that. I think of lazy Sunday afternoons. I think of windows being open. I think of that home, even though it was built in the early 1980s and it had that ugly orange carpet. What on earth was with all of those earth tones? Those were hideous. But all of the childhood memories come flooding back to me. And so this fragrance is so nostalgic. I burn this fragrance every Easter. It doesn't matter where Easter falls, whether it's in March or April. This is a fragrance that I will burn only throughout the months of March and April. It is just my all-time number one favorite. And this to me definitely, you know what? They have the fragrance notes listed on here. Lilac, floral musk, freesia. I think it says jasmine here. My label's kind of gotten wonky. Magnolia, sweet pea. They have all of these fragrance notes listed in here. But honestly, you guys, this genuinely smells like fresh cut lilacs. So an amazing fragrance, one that will always be in my collection, most likely because of the nostalgia factor. So let me know in the comment box down below if you enjoyed this video, if you have maybe like give me your top 3 spring must-have fragrances. We all know that home fragrance is very subjective. It is something that we all can have different opinions on, different. Some of us are gourmand lovers, some of us love florals, some of us love spring fragrances year round. We're just gonna burn what we want when we want. But I am always curious to know what you guys are all enjoying. Don't forget to hit thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. It helps me out with the old YouTube algorithm. Don't forget to go check out Connor's channel too, because I'm really curious to see what fragrances he picked out. He and I sometimes have similar tastes, but then there's other things that we kind of differ on. So I'm very curious to see what he picked out. I want to thank him very much for agreeing to collaborate with me. I always love doing collaborations with others in the community because there's some great, I hate the word influencer, but there's some great other creators here in this space. And I love that we can all just encourage one another and get this information out for you guys. So thank you very much for spending your time here with me today. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're new, if you want to stick around for more of my content. And I always end this way because I genuinely mean it. I hope that until my next video, you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.